To support the locker room, go to moneyball.com.au and sign up for free today. You pick your starting nine with a $60,000 salary cap and you play for real cash. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the locker room. I am here with Jordan Rapana. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, not much, mate. Good to be here.
Bro, it's been crazy. The last week for you, how's it been? You know, that match-winning try you boys get over the line. It was a game, most people thought you would win, but you clawed your way back into the match and you won with a match-winning try. How's the last 7 days been for you?
It's been pretty good. Pretty overwhelming. My Facebook's been going off. I've been bloody tagged and everything and anything from my family. So, it's been a pretty surreal week. On to the next week, I guess.
Is that feeling like when you put that ball down? Of just contentment, like was that similar to yourself? Like when it's happened, when I have scored like a match win or whatever, it was just like that's what it felt like for me.
Yeah, a little bit. I remember once I put the ball down, I automatically started thinking, "Hang on, was I onside?" Like I was stoked that I got the try.
Yep.
And then just started like all the boys came over, started hugging me and stuff, and they were like, "Oh yes, well done, Raps." And I was like, they were like, were you onside? And then kind of put me in two minds. I was like, man, honestly, I can't remember. I was like, I was like, I hope so.
Oh,
and then
bro.
obviously, reviewing and that was all good. But I mean, when they awarded the try, I was bloody stoked. I was so happy because I was even surprised too. Like I just chased the kick out of probably instinct more than anything.
Yeah, because like it's a drop goal. So like most guys, it's end of the game. And you'd just done a run two rucks or three tackles before?
Yeah, I took 1-3 and then went out onto the wing because I was actually trying to... I was actually in the middle of the field because I was going to try and set up in a pocket somewhere in case Osto was under the pump, try and like hit me.
Oh, you
take the drop kick. And then Joey, BJ Leilua, he's like, come out. He's like, he actually said to me, he's like, you're going to score. I'll get you the ball because... We actually wanted to run it. He said you're going to score because he actually wanted the ball. He wanted to run it because they were down a few numbers on that side.
Especially because they're shooting out of the line.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember just went to my wing, and then there was actually a game against the Dragons I think it was the Dragons.
Dragons.
We hit a field goal and hit the post and came back. And I remember I was going to chase that kick. I was like, I'll chase it just in case. Never know what happens. Yep. And I didn't chase it. Oh. And I came back, and where I would have been running I would have been able to maybe, in line with the ball to pick it up and maybe do something. So I remember I was filthy at myself. So in this game, when it came right down to the wire, I was like, man, I'll make sure I chase every kick because you never know what's going to happen with those bounces or it might come off the post. And then, obviously when Osto kicked that one, I just chased it just to see what would happen, and luckily enough I got a good bounce.
And I guess when it's bouncing, like so as it comes off the pole and it bounces up, in your head you're thinking, holy shit, I could get this here. Like I'm nearly there.
It didn't come off the pole. It just hit the ground right at the dead ball line, but it just had a big backspin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and Gags was there and Ross was there. And I don't know, I think he thought he was going to get it and he thought he was going to get it. So they kind of like took their time.
Yep.
And the ball was like, I seen the ball and I was like coming straight through that middle bit. And I was like, I might get a chance here. I was like, I think we're going to get it. And they were kind of just, I think they were just like, oh, you take it, me take it. And then, just...
Because like they could, when you think about it, like if they both go crazy rushing into it, they could knock it over.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, like I thought worst case scenario, I might, like when it bounced back, I was like, if Gaze gets it, I can tackle him in goal.
Yep.
So I didn't really think that the trial was going to come about, but it just luckily enough, the bounce came real. Because it almost landed out on the full, like dead on the full, but it just landed just before the dead ball line and then bounced back like 5 meters out of the try line. So
it's crazy.
I had a crazy bounce on it. And then...
What are the chances like?
I should have put a lottery ticket on
Bro, luckiest man ever. What are the chances that Austin's going to miss for one, and then it's going to hit the boom and come all the way back, and then two guys are going to be not sure who's going to get it, and then you're going to choose to chase. Bro, it was mad. I was pumped. I didn't even know who I was going for. I was just pumped. It was just a mad game of footy.
Yeah, I keep hearing that, Like, obviously when you're playing, it's like everything that could have happened in a football game happened in that game.
Yep.
But it wasn't until after the game, like speaking to obviously family and friends and that, they're just like, man, that was a crazy game. I was like, oh, really? Was it? And it wasn't until like later on watching the try.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like I didn't realise it at
22-0 down. So it didn't really feel to you that it was 22-0 down. You always felt you were
Yeah,
still in
well,
it.
I obviously went off quite early in the game.
Yeah.
And hurt my shoulder, so I went off. Went in and get strapped up, and I came back out, and it was 22-0. And I was like, whoa, what happened? So I wasn't sure. And then I think Osto scored just before half time, and
that was massive.
Yeah, that was massive for us. Like, that really gave us a bit of momentum into the second half. And we've always been a team, or since I've been here the last 2 years, we've always been able to come back from big losses. Like last year we played Bulldogs and it was 30-0. And we came back and tied.
Yeah. It's like, it's weird because like you'd think you clearly have the ability to put points on. So you're like, well, why don't you just put points on all the time? Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's like this, a switch gets flipped and then all of a sudden you go into this mode where everyone's just like playing mad, you're getting roll-ons but man, it was sick. What a game. And the good thing is, like, I was speaking about it earlier, just like about, playing NRL and how good of achievement and stuff it is, but like that, no one can ever take that off you. Every time someone meets you, they'll bring it up. That try. I did that, man. I did that.
Yeah, haven't really thought about that too much, but now that you say it, it'd be a pretty cool feeling.
So, like, what's the last kind of 6 months been for you? Because you've hit this like red hot form, and in your own mind, I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but in your own mind, I guess you'd be sitting there going, well, I've been working this hard for ages. Yeah. But now everything just seems to be clicking for you. You've gone from really good to great at the moment. What do you reckon? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, I honestly don't think I'm doing anything different than I was doing last year. Like, I still think, the way I've trained, the way I've played is very similar to how my preparation was exactly the same as last year. But I don't know. I'd probably, like, if I had to put it down to one thing, probably just desperation. Like, I know at the start of the year, I was probably, like, with the outside backs that we have at the club, like, there's a lot of depth and a lot of real good players. And so, to be honest, like, when Cecil was here at the start of the year, like, I really wasn't first or second pick winger. Like, if you like looked at it on paper, I probably wasn't.
So you got Edric Lee?
Edric and obviously Cecil, who were two amazing players. And it was probably more the probably just, I look at that as like maybe motivation to make sure that I can get in the team, just gives you
because you see the quality and you're like, if I want to even have a chance at this, I've got to meet that no matter what.
Exactly. There's no like, I'm an easy spot this year or this and that. It's like real big motivation to put your foot down and have a decent crack. And so that was probably like what motivated me the most. I was like, oh man, like, this isn't going to be an easy team to make. I've really got to pull my finger out here and have a red hot crack. So and that just probably escalated from pre-season into fortunate for me into the season. And
I guess also you'd see it on the field, so you'd get the obvious thing of like, okay, we've got these two good wingers and I need to be one of those two good wingers. But you'd also get the little things of, like, at training, they would be doing mad stuff. So you've got to try and keep up with that. Like, he might be really quick, he might be mad on the high ball. So every single session you're doing, you're trying to be as good as them. So I guess that would also kind of snowball for you as well. Yeah,
definitely. Like, I think probably something that's real a bonus for us outside backs in our club. We're all real close, but we're all real competitive as well. Like, even if it's not on the football field, we got a basketball hoop there. We play basketball like all the time. I mean, everything's a competition, especially more so with me, Joey Leilua and Edric Lee.
Yep.
We're just like, it could be anything. Like, we'll make a competition out of anything.
Who's the best basketball player?
I've gone. Nah.
Okay, so what's your game in basketball? Like, you're quick on the court, you're good free throw thrower, like
mid-range. I'm a mid-range shooter. Bro.
Mid-range shooter.
I'm good around the post work. I'm handy around. But it's funny, man. We play a game of horse. If I win that or Joey wins that, we're straight on to another game, bloody, of Brax, or we've got all these all these games that we play. We had the 3-point shootout.
Any like PlayStation games?
I try to stay off PlayStation a fair bit. There was a time where I was on it all the time. Played too much. But obviously 2K and FIFA were my games. I was more of sporting.
Who's best in that?
Well, I'm not actually. Probably the best at that is probably the two Pommy blokes in our team, Elliot Whitehead and Josh Hodgson. They're freaks on FIFA. Like, me and Joey thought we were pretty good. Like, we were like, yeah. And then when they came along, 5-1.
You know what it is? Like, and this is something like, so I had mates that played it a lot, and then I come in and I had barely played it, like at all FIFA.
Yeah.
But because I grew up playing soccer, it's from like 5 till 17.
Yeah.
I know the flow of the game. Like I know, you know what I mean? And that's probably why, because they from England.
Yeah.
They live and breathe it, so they can just see the kind of things that you wouldn't be looking for. It'd be just like footy as well. Like
exactly. It's very instinctive for them.
Yeah, and they could just like, they know, like, because the game would be made to simulate soccer. Yeah. So they would know certain things that are happening, like, you know, but it's fucking another thing. But yeah, bro. So, I mean, I've been enjoying it. And I guess also have you always been, you know, the amount of tackle breaks you're making, like 80 tackle breaks or something like that, 81. Is that something that you've always kind of, like, because when I put it this way, as a player, and I'm a smaller player, I don't go into tackles like trying to throw blokes off, because I was always scared of losing the ball. Because my hand, like, and that's something that a lot of people may not realise, that, like, you know, I'll hit it up hard, but I'm not going to be trying to like shrug blokes. But you and BJ, you know, shrugging blokes all the time. And has that been something that you've always been good at, or has it just grown?
I don't know. I guess even come, like, obviously 80 tackle breaks, you say, it obviously comes with a price, because obviously me and BJ got a lot of errors in us as well. So that's obviously part of, comes hand in hand with tackle breaks. But it's, I don't know, it's probably like I was saying before about playing with desperation. Like, I know ever since I've ever started playing football, I just don't like to be tackled, like, regardless, you know. And it
feels like a loss.
It feels like, I like, I'm just a very competitive person. And I just don't like getting dominated in a tackle. I don't like getting tackled, you know, full stop. So some of the boys might say I don't really make much gain. They're like meters wise, so I'm bouncing sideways. Yeah. But, you know, obviously I'm getting my tackle break stats up. So
is that a G up at the boys give it to you about that?
Yeah, the boys go. I was like, come on, boys, don't be jealous. But,
and they just said, bro, you're just running sideways.
Started over there and all the way over here. I was like, hey man, I got 4 tackle breaks.
Oh man, that's what I do miss, is a footy banter.
Yeah,
man, I miss that.
Yeah, we got a lot of that at the club. It's funny.
Is that something else that you've noticed with the Raiders? You know, being obviously I haven't played with the Raiders, but being a part of the Broncos and other clubs, the Raiders has always seemed to be this club that has this kind of like this unique culture of like, is it pretty close? Because Canberra is a small town, there's not much to do, but there's always like this vibe that the Canberra boys are really close together. Is that something that you've noticed, or is it pretty similar to most other teams here?
Yeah, well, I've only obviously been at Gold Coast. That's my only other club I've been at. But I've been here now this is my 3rd year, and I've noticed, like, culture-wise, probably the attitude of the players and the depth and the competitiveness amongst the players has changed immensely since 3 years ago.
Oh, like, really? Wow.
Yeah, and I think, like, Rick has had a big part of that. Like, whatever he clean out, for lack of a better word, or, you know, he's really brought in. Recruited well, and just the group of guys that we have here. There's no big heads. There's no.
It's got a pretty young side.
Young team, but everyone is, like, obviously there's, like, me and BJ hang out off the field. Like, we're real close, and there's obviously other boys that, you know,
are close.
That are close, but as a group we're still close. Like, obviously as a team, as a whole, we have a real good culture amongst the club.
That's good, man. It's I miss the banter. Just walking in the morning and the voice spraying you. Yeah. No, it sounds weird, but it's a good people. That's something else that people may not see. Like, outside in a normal job, there's not as much banter as would be in a kind of footy side. But take us back, bro. Take us back. So you were born in Wellington. Yep,
I was actually born in Purirua, which is a little town outside of Wellington.
Okay,
it's about 20 minutes north of Wellington. So. Yeah, I was born and brought up there till I was about 10 or 11, and then moved across the Gold Coast.
And what was the kind of catalyst for moving you to the Goldie? Was it just like
life?
Or?
Yeah, I think Dad got a job. He got a pretty good job over there, so he just packed up the house.
It's a good place to go, bro, Goldie.
And moved over there, and that would have been about 95, 96. So I think now you go to Gold Coast, there's every Kiwi and his dog there. But when we went there, it was spot the Kiwi, because there was hardly any 100%.
Especially back then, 96? I'm from the Gold Coast. I'm from Mudgeeraba.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Mum and Dad live in Reedy Creek.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I the Goldie, like, if you could think of, especially back then, maybe not as much now with like all the bikers and shit that have come through it, but back then, like,
it was the best, bro. It's just it was like
paradise.
It's just like a country. Oh, it was like a surfy town almost. Like there was the Gold Coast Highway, and that was about it.
Yeah, and you just like you'd have everything you needed. So you'd have like your Caval Labs.
Yeah.
But you could leave your doors unlocked. You'd cruise around and you're
now it's just
bro, it's not even
a million miles an hour.
100%. I remember the beach road along Mermaid. They'd have that. You had a bike lane, like a full big bike lane. That would never be like that now. But you could just cruise along there, like, man, it was just like no hustle and bustle. Just have like a mad. Fuck, it was it was mad. I miss those days. So you moved from Wellington to a Gold Coast. What was it like growing up in Wellington? Obviously it was cold, but what was it? Yeah. Do you miss it like at all?
Yeah, where we lived in Purirua, it was a small Maori community where we lived.
Yep.
My mum's side of the family, like her my mum lived here. Her brother lived next door to her. Her parents lived there. Like it was, and in the village that we lived in, or was it like the little town that we lived in, it was pretty much every second house was your cousin. You know, everyone was.
So do you miss that like strong? Because you would have been like insulated in your culture. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like you move out of there, you move into the more Western kind of thing. But back then you would have been like, do you miss that? Like being in that insulated multiculture?
Yeah, you miss it. I guess probably more so now, or as growing up as a teenager, because you you kind of missed out on. Like having that cultural background, obviously moving out of New Zealand when you're younger.
Yep.
Yeah, you kind of miss out on a little bit of that. I guess cultural upbringing.
Yeah. As a teenager, you're not really thinking about that either, though. Like you're just kind of out of it. Whereas now you're grown up and you like start respecting where you come from. And stuff.
Exactly. That's probably the biggest thing. You look back and you're just like, oh man, I really missed out on my culture. A big part of it. But that was a good thing about Mum and Dad too. Like, even though we moved away from New Zealand and home, they still kept
practiced it pretty strong.
They kept our culture in here very strong. So it wasn't too bad.
So when you come to the Gold Coast, what school did you go to? Keebra?
Nah, I went to primary school first. Went to a primary school called Eleanor Primary.
Yep.
I attended that pretty much till I was year 7, obviously. And
so you're nearly a New South Welshman.
Eleanor?
Isn't Eleanor near the border there?
Oh, yeah, it's near the border. It's Queensland.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. It's right next to Palm Beach, so it's still Queensland. But,
okay.
It's just, not too far from the border. So, I attended, I attended, Eleanor Primary up until year 7, and then went to Palm Beach Currumbin State High School.
Oh, PBC.
PBC, yeah. Went there from year 8 onwards.
So what you would have been...
Graduated in 2008.
1989. So you would have seen Darbs there. Darius, he would have been
2 years older than me.
2 years older, but he stayed a year back, eh? So he would have, because he stayed a year back, so he'd been 2 years older, but he would have stayed. So you would have been
maybe he was 3 years older. No, because when I was in year 11, I played my first game for the A's, and he wasn't in the team. He'd graduated, so
okay, maybe.
And that was year 11. So
maybe the years are different because you come from New Zealand. Like, do you know how because I never played it. 1989. He's 1987.
No, I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, he would have been 2 years older. Yeah. Steve Michaels.
Well, they're all they're with my older brother's age. So he played obviously at local comp, we played at Currumbin Chugan Seahawks, and Steve played there. Darius was at Burleigh, but they're all my older brother's age, roughly around my older brother. So he played with Steve, Aussie schoolboys and stuff with him. Yep. But they were a bit older than me.
PBC, man, that used to be the school. School. Did you win any school GS and stuff?
No, we made it to the finals and we lost to Patrician Brothers, Blacktown. And
Patrician Brothers. I thought it was I thought it was you, Keebra, Was it Waverley?
Wavell. No. So that's Queensland. So we beat Keebra in the Queensland final. Yep. Actually, we beat So they break into states. So you got Queensland, New South Wales. We played St Brendan's, Yeppoon, which is like Dave Taylor and them. Yep.
Jamie Simpson.
Who was there? What's that guy? What's the second row for Broncos? Matt Gillette. I think he was there. Maybe.
No, he's Sunshine Coast.
Oh, okay. Is he? I can't remember. They had some pretty good. Ben Hunt. I'm pretty sure Ben Hunt was there.
He would have been up that area.
Yeah.
Guy called Jamie Simpson. He was up there. He played a bit
Ben
of
Ridge.
games for Rabbitohs.
Remember Ben Ridge?
Ben Ridge.
Played for Gold Coast Titans. Yeah, and he just retired not too long ago.
No.
Yeah, they had a few good players, but we beat them in the semis, and then we had to play Kebra in the finals, and that was a mad game. That was like, I remember we played them at Burleigh Bears home ground, and we had about almost 10,000 people just watching that game. I think it was 7,000 or something like that. And that's just at a little local park, but because we're the two main schools in Gold Coast, every man and his dog came out and watched that.
Because I remember like being a little ethnic soccer guy, little skinny wog.
Yeah.
Like PBC and Kid were like, they were the man, like they were the fucking big footy boys.
What school did you go to?
St. Michael's, just like a Catholic school.
Oh, yeah.
Little preppy Catholic school. But yeah, like the footy boys, man, like they were the cool dudes and shit, and we're just these little skinny nerds. But so you played them in the finals. What was that like? That would have been your first introduction to like a big game.
Yeah, that was hectic. I just remember just being out, like, cause there's a little hill, around the whole field, a little grandstand and that, and it was just jam packed. Just obviously it's right close to the field, so playing at that age too, it's just.
You've been a man.
Every tackle is almost a punch on, like everyone's just carrying
back in the day when you could punch on.
Yeah,
right.
But it was a mad game. It's actually, I think we were down by a little bit, and we ended up coming back and winning. And the year before, so when I was in year 11, we played Kebra, and we lost right on the buzzer. We lost to them, and they ended up going on to win the Australian title. So then, the next year when I was in year 12, got another crack at them and we beat them. I was so happy, but we obviously lost the final. But
what position did you play? Fullback?
Fullback, yeah. I was fullback and I think a little bit centre maybe.
Was there any other boys like in that game that went on to play NRL?
Kevy Proctor.
Yep.
Kev was there. It was me, Kev. Are you just talking about Palm Beach? At Palm Beach?
Oh, and Kebra.
Yeah, Kebra had like... he was a bit older. He was the same year as Darius, so I didn't play against him. But Kenny Edwards was there. He was playing for Kebra. Kenny Edwards. Robbie Lou.
Oh, yeah.
Rob Louie. He's over in England now.
Salford Devils, is he? Is it Red Devils or something like
that? Yeah, Salford Devils. But from our school it was only me, Kevy, and I think Kane Lawton. He went on to play a little bit. That was about it.
And so you went to the national titles. Is there any memories, like fond memories of that game or anything like that?
Nah, not really. I remember we played them up before the Cowboys game. Up in Townsville, it was real hot.
Did you, when I was that age, when you saw NRL players play, were you like, they are way too big and fast, I will never be that big and fast and be able to cop that?
Yeah, 100%. I remember just going, like, obviously you dream to play in it, but you're like, at the same time, how am I going to physically play
exactly. And you're like, how is he so big and so fast? And like, they're hitting each other. So I remember that there was a trial in the Gold Coast as Bulldogs versus someone, Bulldogs maybe, Cowboys maybe, I don't know. And I seen like Sonny Bill and Bulldogs vs Dragons on the Goldie and Crara, the Crara Stadium. And I was like, man, these guys are monsters. And this is when I was like part of the Broncos system at 17 or 18. Bro, and I ended up playing, but anyway. Okay, so you did. When were you scouted for a club? Was it straight to the Titans out of school, or?
Yep. So I actually, my last year of high school, when we made that obviously grand final, it was probably like it was a bit similar to the season I'm having now, like I was played the year before and I kind of was just out there doing my job, and then the next year, I was, without blowing my own trumpet, I had a real good season. I played real well and kind of stood out, and I ended up having a few clubs approach me. So it's obviously the last year of high school, so and 20s was just coming into the competition the next year, so
2008.
And so it ended up working out perfect for me. And so I had a few, I think Roosters in Brisbane I had, and Gold Coast. I obviously stayed at Gold Coast.
And then so that would have been 2006. 2007, because you made your debut
2008. So that was the end of 2007. Yeah.
And so you go straight into a system. I guess was footy for you always something that you not expected, but that was when you look towards your future, you wanted to be an NRL player? Or not really, you just kind of grew into
not really. Like I was saying that, like, obviously growing up my whole life I just surfed, skated, I just bummed around, didn't do much at all. Obviously I was at school. And it wasn't until my last year of high school when I started to excel in football, in rugby, that I was like, I could actually probably,
I might go right
here. Might be able to make a living from this.
Yep.
So it wasn't until my last year of high school that I really like kind of believed that I could make a living out of it.
That might have coincided as well with like, okay, you started to realise that something could happen, and then you started playing really well because you're putting more effort into it and trying harder and not just kind of cruising with everything that's going and stuff like that.
My old man is a concreter as well, so
yep.
on my days off I had to go out and work with him, and that honestly that was like a massive motivator for me to pull my finger out, because I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, man.
I'm trying to think of a harder job.
Yeah.
I honestly, a concreter is probably the hardest job you can do.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like the hours he works and how hard it is. I couldn't even last, like most times I couldn't last 2 days in a row. I'd do it one day, maybe do two, and I was like, chuck a sickie. Like, I don't know how he does it, eh?
And they just do it day in,
and he comes
day
home
out,
from,
day out.
He'll come home from like a bloody 12, 13 hour day, and he's straight on the gym. Bro, all this energy. I'm like, what the heck, man?
Yeah, my dad's exactly the same, but obviously not in labouring, but he used to wake up at like 4, drive to Brisbane, work till like 7, 8 at night, come home, go to sleep, wake up at 4, do his workout, and like he'd have a cold shower every morning.
Yeah, that's what my dad does.
Really?
All the time, cold showers. Bro. Never has a hot shower. I've never known him to have a hot shower.
100%, and like
always has cold showers, bro.
It's just like, it's a different generation, eh? Like just so mentally tough.
Ah, that's funny.
Oh man,
loves a cold shower.
Dad, why are you having a cold shower? And he's just like, mate, just wakes you up in the morning. Like, Dad, you're crazy, man. You're crazy.
Try having that in Canberra, bro.
Oh, the ice, bro. It would literally come out in ice and stab you in the head. Yeah, that generation, eh? Just tough. Just mentally, like, no complaining, nothing.
Yeah.
They just day in, day out, just get the job
on
done.
with it, eh?
Just no
if there's a barrier, all right, climb over it.
Yep. And the thing is, like, so even if there's a barrier for us, like, we'll stop and talk about it. They won't even talk about it. They'll just do it.
It's like that when you go to work, like something happens. Why haven't you done this? Oh, well, we're trying to figure. Why are you trying to figure out? Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, like, okay.
sweet.
Yeah.
Oh man, 100%. Okay, so you go to the Titans, system, and you make your debut later in. You were later in the year, hey?
Yep. So I played under 20s, obviously up until around 15 or 16, and it was the same again. Like start of the year, I was on the wing at Gold Coast, just didn't even think. Oh, to be honest, I honestly didn't even think I was going to get picked for 20s because I was 3 years, like I was 17. It was
the youngest you could do.
Yeah, it's the youngest you could be. So like there was guys in there that was 19, 18, 19, 20. Yep. And you're like, oh, these guys are going to get first pick. And so, like, again, in preseason, I honestly did not think that I would be picked round one. Yep. I'm fortunate. I had a good preseason, had a good trial games in that. I think I played a trial game with the NRL against the Raiders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, up in Ipswich. And that was cool because me and my brother both got picked in that team.
Yep.
So it was cool because I got to play with one of my brothers. So that was pretty cool. But, obviously, in that year, I got to play 20s, got picked in 20s, and I just kept doing it. Just slowly made my way, just excelled, and then moved to fullback, and then just started playing some good footy, and then got a crack.
So that phone call, what's it like? You know, when you call you call your father, you call your mother. Like, what's that phone call like for the debut? Like, you know,
I was stoked. I was bloody. Yeah, it was just obviously my childhood dream come true, and it was cool because on top of that, they also paid for my family. Wherever the game was, they paid for however many tickets and however many flights they. Because too, I think when I was in under 20s, they had all these bonuses. Like, because they don't expect you to play first grade. Yeah, you have an under 20s contract. They have all these bonuses. You have this many match payments. You have this. We'll pay for your family and all this. Yeah. So when I got picked, I'm sure bloody the club was like, why did we say that for?
He's got 30 cousins on the Gold Coast.
So I got obviously 10 brothers and sisters, and they all. Yeah, mum, dad, and everyone just came down we played the Roosters in Sydney.
It's so funny, you got 10 brothers and sisters, like, they were like, actually, in the contract, you're only allowed to have 5.
Just your standard family package.
We only supply standard family passes.
So it was awesome, man, to have them there, and on top of that, it ended up being one of the greatest I think, greatest wins Gold Coast ever had, because
really?
at the time, Roosters were at the top of the table and we were at the bottom, or close to, and we ended up beating them. So,
And I guess Titans were only 2 years in the comp?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years maybe,
Yeah.
But like the team that they picked a couple of debutants, and it was just a young team.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, what was the conversation like from the coach? Did you know? Was it late?
Yeah, it was. It was actually. So the assistant coach, honestly, my memory's bad, but I'm pretty sure. So the assistant coach for Gold Coast was one of my high school teachers.
Oh, okay.
He's actually the assistant coach for Parry now, Steve Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure John Cartwright had gone to Origin maybe that week or something like that. He was away with Origin duties, so Steve took over the coaching duties because he was assistant, and I'm pretty sure he was the one that called me into the team, or me and a couple other players as well. So
was it just like
it was obviously that's what I think why I remember it was him, because obviously it meant a lot, him being my school coach teacher and stuff like that, and he was my under-20s coach as well.
Oh, okay. So he's been important in development.
Yeah. He'd watched me pretty much since I started playing rugby league. And
so did you just call you in the office and go, listen, Jordan, you're in, mate?
Yeah. They had a pretty bad run of injuries that year with their wingers, which ended up being good for me. Yeah. He just said, because I remember the week before, I was very, very, very close to playing. It was depending on an injury.
Oh, okay.
And then the guy who I was meant to play for ended up being all right. So he said, well, we're not going to play this week. We're going to stay with him. So I was like, at least I know I'm kind of in the mix.
Yeah, you're right there.
And then that same guy got injured that game. And next week, sure enough, he called me in and said, look, pack your bags. You're coming down to Sydney. And I was like, mate, I was obviously, I was ecstatic and I was over the moon.
Damn, it's debuts, man. I remember that feeling. I remember the week of my debut, I was so nervous, man. And then I got in the changing room, I put on the jersey, and then this weird calm just came over me, and I was so confident. I don't know what it is. I never got that feeling
exactly the same as me, man.
Swear to God.
Exactly, man. I was just like so nervous. I remember calling Dad, like, what if I do this wrong?
Yeah.
So you'll be sweet. As soon as I put the jersey on, same thing. As soon as I started getting focused, I was like, bro, I'm gonna go mad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah. I've never felt like that ever again, man. Like I was nothing was gonna go wrong. I just knew, and I don't know. And even when it was happening, I was like, why am I so confident right now?
Yeah.
And I just went out, and everything worked for me. Everything just worked.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, eh?
That was the same, bro.
It's crazy, eh? And it's just this weird calm.
Yeah.
Wasn't nervous one tiny bit. Like every ball that went up, I think
too, you're so mentally focused too. That's probably a massive part of it. Like every debutant I've ever played against, even now, like there was a debutant that I played against the other week, and he killed it, like carved me up, and I was like, but like they're just on.
Like, I guess it's because like your whole week is just preparing for that moment.
Yeah.
So you played 5 games that year, and scored 5 tries.
Yeah.
Bro, 5 tries, 5 games, first in the NRL. It's
I don't know. It's just like you were saying. It just happened. Like the day of my debut, I just felt so confident. Just everything went my way. And the next week, same thing. I just got a little roll on it.
It's weird. Like when you're really young, how things like just work for you. You're fit, you're fat, like everything's just working. You know what I mean? As you get a bit older, things they still work for you, but it's harder to get things clicking as easy for some reason. I don't know what so you come back, bro, and when you come back, are you ready to go? You're like, I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, when I came back, so I had when I signed, it was actually funny the way I signed my contract before I left. I had already told them before I left that I was going to go on a mission. So when I was 18 and signed this contract, 2-year deal, I said, when I turn 20, I'm going on a mission.
Yep.
And then you can continue my contract after I come back. So it was weird. So I played a year. My contract went on pause for 2 years, and when I came back, I had a year still. So that's how my 2-year deal worked. Yeah,
that's mad.
It was weird.
It's perfect.
And but obviously I wasn't on lots of money or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then they were obviously taking the risk and gamble of signing me being out of the game for 2 years, and then taking the gamble of having me when I get back. But by the time I got back, because I lived over in England and Europe and stuff, I obviously growing up in New Zealand playing union, and living over in Europe and seeing how big union was, I just had like a massive urge to really want to give union a crack.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know, I just had this phase where I just went through when I came back that I didn't want to play league. I wanted to give union a crack, and so I came back and told them I didn't want to come back, because I still had the option to come back. I didn't have to come back to that 1 year deal.
Okay.
So I told them, no, I don't want to come back to the league. I want to go to union, and I approached the union club in Western Force, and they signed me on a 2 year deal, and pretty much packed up all my stuff and hadn't been home more than a month or so, and moved over to Perth and started playing rugby union.
Was it crazy going from living, helping other people and everything like that, and then coming back and you're focusing on your dream, you're living in a good place, training every day? Was that weird?
Yeah, heck yeah. Oh, especially it was more so the first few weeks, like just adjusting to life.
Yeah.
Every night you'll plan your day to go, what you're going to do, who you're going to help, things you're going to do.
Yeah.
And then the next morning you go out, you do it. Every night you're just worrying about everyone else. And so obviously coming back, and you're always with another guy. So like I remember first coming home, when I got back, I was like, just felt so weird being alone. I'm like,
yeah.
I just felt like,
100%.
what the heck, I was on my own. And then at night time, it's almost like you've gone from doing something at 100 miles an hour to coming home and literally doing nothing. You feel real lazy. You're like, man, I'm meant to be doing something. I feel like, man, I've got to do something. That was probably the biggest adjustment, or that was probably the hardest thing to adjust to.
Is it also kind of, you wouldn't have felt guilty, but did you sometimes feel guilty? Like, I'm focusing so much on myself now, like I'm going to play footy, I'm training every day. Like, was there still tendencies to want to like go out and help and kind of stuff, or were you past that? Like,
I was a bit like, after 2 years, like, you can kind of.
So it was 2 years.
And you can kind of say, I kind of need this break, but but I know what you mean though. Like, there was times where it wasn't so much you felt guilty, it's just like, I felt like, I feel a bit lazy. Like, why am I just lying here on my bed, or why am I
enjoying myself?
Enjoying myself. I meant to be working, or I'm meant to be doing something.
Because you've got this like set structure, day in, day out, and you're just supposed to. And like, there's this kind of mission that is above your own kind of whatever. When that gets taken away, it's just like you've got your own autonomy back. You can just make your choices and. I mean, it's so. I'm like really interested in that whole just that process. But so you come back Western Force. What do you reckon? Like, so did you enjoy it there? Like, what did you just get that union out of your system?
Like, to be honest, I had a real bad run of injuries. I had a reoccurring shoulder injury from league before I left on Monash, and I thought that leaving for those couple of years it would heal on its own, and it never did. And I got I remember. Probably not my first game. Oh, it wasn't even a game. It was actually pre-season at training. Went in to steal the ball. Someone dived in. My whole shoulder just came out. Went and got a scan on it, and they obviously knew that it had been there for years. Like, this didn't just happen. I tried to play the old. Oh man, I just think my shoulder came out. Like, mate, there's been floating bone in there for like at least 3 years. And so they're like, you really need surgery on this, and I was like. So, that put me out for obviously 6 months. Yep. Which means I missed the whole season. Yeah. And then.
Would that rattle you a bit?
Oh yeah, heck mentally? Yeah. I was like, but I still had another year on my contract, so I was like, hindsight, I still got a year to prove myself. I still know. And then I had surgery, got back into it. Started pre-season came. The coach that signed me at the Western Force got the sack. Yeah, got the sack. I got a new coach coming. The new coach. Yeah.
This new guy so you're this new guy that hasn't played a minute of footy, and you got your shoulder injury coming back. Yeah.
And he just came over. He brought a lot of other players with him, and he pretty much got rid of about 9 or 10 of us. And he just said, boom. Like, the worst thing about it, what annoyed me was he never came to my face to say like, I'd been around in training and seen him, and he'd never ever once come up and say hello. He never like introduced
from
himself.
the get go, he had that agenda.
It was just, I was just like, and then when he sacked me, he just called my manager to tell my manager, tell Jordan. And I was like, you're sitting right there in the office up there, like, come say it to my face.
Yeah, like, and you would honestly, respect that.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just peed me off, and then so obviously had to leave. I still got. Paid out that year of my contract, which was good, and so packed up my stuff, and I was going to move back to Gold Coast and just start working, probably play local footy. And then, which I wasn't fussed, I was like, at least I gave it a shot. Gave it a shot, and obviously it hasn't worked out. But I think the Brumbies had heard about me leaving there, and they were low on outside backs. And Steve Larkham called me, who's the coach now, and he told me, like, look, we'll give you a pre-season. So kind of worked out perfect, because as I was moving back to Gold Coast, I kind of just stopped in at Canberra on the way.
Oh, okay. So you had all your stuff ready to go?
Yeah. And I stopped off at Canberra and had a pre-season. And again, it went really good for me. It was the first time, obviously, back from injury. I started to find my feet a bit. Had a good pre-season. Played they had a few injuries. Like the Brumbies back line back then was pretty much the Wallabies back line. So it was a hard team to get into.
Is that like Giddo and that?
Nah, not that. Nah, it was like Lilafano, Matamua.
Oh, yeah, okay. The new breed.
New breed. But pretty much very similar to what they've got now.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much the Wallaby back line. And so, like, for me to get a crack, it was pretty much, again, waiting on injury. I was never really going to just walk in there. But in the pre-season games, because they had a few injuries with their players, I got to play almost all the pre-season games, start all the pre-season games, and I went really well.
Yep.
And I went well enough for Steve Larkham to offer me another year deal.
Yep.
So I was like, and I was, at the same time that he offered me that 1 year deal, was when Dukes just got sacked. I think Fergo and Sandor. There was all that off-field drama with the Raiders, and I was in Canberra at the time, and I was like, this could be a pretty good chance to get back in the league scene. And I didn't want to, at the time that time in my life, I didn't want to go back to Gold Coast. I was still in Canberra. I was like, I thought it was would have been a pretty good opportunity. And so I told Steve Larkham just to hold that contract. I told him, like,
straight up.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going back to the league. Like, the only way for me to play in your team is if someone gets injured, and I'm not going to sit here and rely on injury.
Yeah.
And so he was all good about it. And I pretty much, one of my uncles works with the SG Ball under 20s team at the Raiders, and I just said, bro, tee us up a meeting with the big dog.
Was that Ferner at the time?
Yeah, Ferner. I was like, bro, I want to crack, man. And then, I remember we had a meeting and just told him my situation. Said, look, I don't want to sign here. I know you got some players off contract and stuff like that, and you're low on outside backs. So I'm not after money. I just want to crack.
Yep.
Just want opportunity. And the very next day, he said, come to my office. I have a contract here for you. And
wow.
2 weeks later, he got sacked, and I was like, round two all over again.
I'm going to get brushed again.
Yeah, I was like, don't tell me the new coach is just going to come in here and sack me.
Yeah, ring Larkham up. Oh, bro, can I come back?
Yeah, about that contract. And so, a week later they signed Rick, and rest is history.
How old were you when that, like, were you, 21, 22?
When?
Oh, it would have been 23.
Yeah, 23.
When you signed with Raiders.
24, 23, turning 24.
Was that like, did you ever get to a point where you were like, your contracts weren't massive, and I guess because you lived with nothing for 2 years.
Yeah.
You kind of like.
Yeah.
You were easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume.
Yeah. No.
That helped you?
100%. If you ask half the boys in the team what I'm like, I'm most chilled.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd live off peanut butter sandwiches for the rest of my life. It honestly would not bother me where I lived.
So that was, I guess you can look back on those 2 years and be like, that gave you the mental, not toughness, but just like material things don't mean as much to you now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, before playing NRL, before going away, it also like showed to me that rugby league's not the be all and end all. Like, there's a lot more to life. Yeah. And so I was obviously not too fussed if I didn't make it, and I wasn't too fussed if I did.
Okay, yeah.
And obviously when Rick came in, rest was history. Yeah,
because like you think like a normal guy coming up, he'd be like, all right, well, I'm 24, like I'm still on the fringes here. Whereas I guess you just be like, man, sweet, like it's all good.
Actually, a big part of that would have been I didn't have any like real commitments. Like I was a single guy, didn't have kids, didn't have a mortgage, I didn't even own a car. I don't think. Like, I just had nothing. I was literally like a gypsy, bro. Like, I was like a little hippie.
You had no responsibilities.
No responsibilities. So I'm like, I can afford to train and play for next to nothing. You know, whereas obviously I've got a lot of friends that just as talented and have the ability, but because they've got kids or are married and got commitments elsewhere. It's hard for them to do that. So,
yeah, and I mean, we were talking about it earlier, but that's where I feel like I think a lot more money needs to be invested into guys like yourself, like in that area. Like obviously you got through it sweet, but you're in this really unique situation where you had gone away and lived a certain, like a very, you learned something in that 2 years that a 40-year-old learns. Do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
Material things don't matter, whereas like a normal kid that age doesn't get that experience.
Yeah.
So they don't
like you were saying, like putting $100,000 on top of $1 million contract isn't really going to make much of a difference to that person, whereas putting maybe two $50,000 contracts on top of someone else's, some fringe player's contract, is going to make a massive difference to him.
100%. Like, or even if you're like, okay, here's a 50 grand contract, but you can have 2 days off a week instead of one on the second day you can work. Yeah. Like, imagine how many more people would stay in the game. Like, you look at guys like Matt Gillette, Jack Reed. Those guys were playing reserve grade, didn't have an NRL club here, and like they were like 1 or 2 years away from being like, well, don't have an NRL club.
Walking away, and now they're bloody superstars in the game.
Bro, look at Matt Gillette, the best player, and he was literally, so I just 100% believe that. So you're coming all the way, I guess, to that first year when you fractured your skull. Was it a fracture of the skull?
Yep. So
that's got to rattle you.
So the whole of 2000, I signed almost towards the end of 2013, so I didn't get to play that. Then 2014, Rick came in, and we were with South Slogan and Mounties, so we had 2 reserve grade teams.
Yep.
And the boys from Queensland automatically got to go up and play for South Slogan because our families were up there, and then the other boys from Sydney and Canberra had to go to Mounties.
Oh, okay.
And so 2014, I played all my year, pretty much most of the year, Reggie's. And it wasn't until I got moved to fullback I started playing really well there. And at the same time, Campo got injured, and NRL, Terry Campese got injured, so Milf went to 5'8", which left the fullback spot open. And because I was playing well up in Queensland Cup, Rick gave me an opportunity to play, and I was up in Parramatta and Darwin. I remember getting that. That was awesome. I remember getting the call. It was just so good to finally be back in that scene after. Well, 18 was the last time.
I was going to say,
2008, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 6 years, bro. Like, that's a massive...
Because, we sit here and we're like, yeah, you were sweet, and, you learned to live with not much, but those years would have been pretty tough for you.
Yeah.
Trying to crack your dream again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, those years when you come back, and then you finally get the call, and you're like, I did it.
Like, I honestly reckon playing in that 2014 debut for the club against Parramatta, I probably appreciated that a lot more than I did my debut.
Yeah, okay, because you've been through that journey.
Yeah. Like, as a kid, because everything happened so fast when I was younger, I kind of just took it for granted. I was like, debut, woo, like, it's still cool, but...
Yep. But I guess you were
in that
system.
Then, because I'd been out of the game and seen so many, people that, miss out on opportunities to play first grade, and I, just... bit my time and finally got a crack. It just, I probably appreciated it a lot more.
What was that feeling like? Was it content, like relief?
Yeah, like it was almost like, it was very much like kind of climbing the mountain, like, I done it.
Yeah,
like,
and you're just like, oh, okay.
And I was probably more so like that too, because I knew once I got there that I was going to have a good career. Like, I wasn't like I was going to be here, 5 or 6 games later, see you later. Honestly, I honestly felt like once I get a crack or a shot at first grade, that I'll have a pretty.
Because you know that you appreciate.
Yeah. I know I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. And you're at an age where you're like, these are the things. Like, my food's got to be right, my body's got to be right, my training's got to be right. Whereas like when you're 18, you don't think. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I wasn't. I was just rocking up, 100%. Getting told what to do, and then going home. Whereas 100%. Now, if I was to train, I'd be perfect. I mean, I wouldn't be perfect, but I try to be perfect. So you make your debut, but then. Was it how many games into it?
Yeah, well, this is another thing, another setback. I got my debut, played really well. Next week, got to keep the jersey again.
Yep.
And then fractured my bloody skull, just cracked. Oh mate, I was just like, surely not.
So when that happened, like, what were you feeling? Like, were you scared?
Nah. So what happened was, I was fullback and I was coming across, and Peter Metaltia made like a line break on the line.
Yep.
And there was only me there to beat, so he just like pretty much went to go bulldoze me over. And I just went high to try and hold the ball. And I remember his front of his head, we just headbutted Just boom. But because he was coming at like 100 miles an hour and I was just standing there, his head just took all the impact.
Yep.
And I just remember I didn't get knocked out. I just I had the biggest migraine. Yeah, I just seeing a few stars. I was like, oh. And because it was my second game back, I was like, I'm not coming off. I was just
100% desperate.
I was like, desperate, man. I was like, I don't care. Like, there's no way they're taking me off. Like, I've worked so hard to get here. Like, bro, you're not taking me off. But the trainer came over, and I remember feeling my head, and there's like, you know, when you feel like the top of a baby's head, and it's like soft.
Yep.
It's literally what it was like there. I was like, I was going, bro, still holding my head. And I remember his face going, I think it's bruised. Because you know, sometimes when you get a bruise or like a bump, it's quite swishy. So I just assumed it was that. And because I wasn't knocked out, I was like, oh, this will be all right. Like, it's surely not that bad. Yeah, because it felt weird, eh?
Yeah.
And then anyway, so that was like start of the second half. I got up. I was like, nah, stuff this. I need my match payment. I was like, I'm going to get on with this. So I pushed on with it. It was all good. After the game,
you play with you play with a fractured skull, bro. That is hectic.
Oh, it sounds a lot worse than I think it really was.
Bro,
honestly,
crazy.
It wasn't that bad.
Now this is on a way lower scale, but I'm just relating to you because I know what the feeling. When I did break my ribs, so I broke 6 ribs, one snapped in half, and my lungs collapsed. I was in so much pain, but I was exactly the same spot as you. I'm like, I'm not coming off, and I couldn't breathe. But I was like, I'm not coming off. I have to stay on. I don't want to lose my spot. And then I had to come off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like, this is my second game. I've had that many setbacks, bro. I'm like, my head will be fine.
Even though there's a hole in it, my head will be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. So okay. So what happened?
So after it, I remember Rick was talking. I was like, bro, I'm talking to him. I don't feel well, eh? I went to the toilet, spewed up. I was like, they're like, maybe you should go to the doctors, man. You need to get checked. And obviously after that, went to hospital.
Were they panicking when you go, like when they?
No, like that's what I was saying. It sounds a lot worse than it is. Like, there was obviously a whole fracture, but it was all stable. Like, nothing. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like, I saw the specialist. He was booked in there like 2 days later to get surgery. Cut me from ear to ear. Pulls that down. Pulls off. Oh, it's like what's that? Chainsaw Massacre. It's like literally like they showed me photos of
your actual head.
Yeah, of my head when I'm in surgery, like fully asleep. They pull it down. They've got these plastic things covering your eyes so they don't damage your eyes, and there's just golf ball size holder. And he's put a metal plate there. And now
so there's still a metal plate there?
Ting, ting.
So he's...
Yes. Come at me, bruh. Wolverine, bro.
Oh, bro, that's hectic, man.
I've had no problems with it now.
Well, there's actually 10 guys that you've played that have split skulls from your head hitting their
head. Yeah, I
know. Matate, run at me again, bro.
Yeah, we played him on the weekend there. Like, ooh, round 2.
I've got a steel head now.
His head, it was that hard, man. I remember hitting there. I probably still would put a dent in this metal plate.
Man, that's good. And it's okay, so when that happened, you were out for a bit, like the year.
No. What happened? Because I played at the end of my debut was like round 22 or something.
Oh, okay.
There was only 4 games less.
Perfect.
So everyone's like, it's a season-ending injury. I was like, that's 1 game left. So, but so I missed out on 1 or 2 games, but it was perfect because I went straight into preseason again. And what was good after that 1 game that I played, so that I ended up timing it well. That game that I played, Parramatta, I ended up re-signing straight after that game. So I re-signed for another year. And then I did injury the next game.
Next game.
So then I still had another year on my contract, which left me through preseason. Had a really good preseason, and my head was well. Started round 1.
Were you hesitant at all?
Nah, not at all.
Really?
No, not at all. I was, I obviously did a lot of rehab and stuff. So I was pretty confident to get back into it. I wore a headgear for a couple of games, but that was just annoying, so I brushed that.
Yeah, wouldn't really do much anyway.
Nah, it wouldn't have. They just said it might help you with the confidence a bit, but so, and then that was all 2015. I pretty much played every game last year, so.
I guess, you didn't get lucky, but for it to happen in the off-season, like you'd be like, okay, it's the off season. I'm not missing any games.
Yeah.
So
if there was a time for it to happen, it was when it happened. That was the perfect time in the season for it to happen.
100%. Because then you can be like, all right, it's off season. I'm not losing a spot to anyone. I got time to recover.
Yeah. I'd rather it happen then than play all of that season and do it round one the next year. You know what I mean? Because then I've been out for a long time. So. Man, was it So I guess mentally it wasn't really struggle at all. You're pretty sweet. No, not at all. I'm pretty chill back, laid back dude. So not much getting.
And I guess now on to now, like I get you. So that's something else I wanted to ask you. I read that you would prefer to play for New Zealand.
Ever since I was a kid, every time I've watched like the Kiwis play and the anthem comes on, I'm like straight up there. So like Kiwis anthem, no matter, even though I never lived there, like I moved out when I was young.
But it's a culture.
I'm still passionate. As soon as the haka comes on, like I just, you know, it's like. Just like me dreaming to play in the NRL, I've had a longer dream to play for the Kiwis. Yeah, like that's.
And I guess you could never forgive yourself if you don that Queensland jersey, and then a year later you're sitting there watching dudes run out in black, doing the haka, and you couldn't be there with your brother. Like,
100%. And like I remember, just like even here, like there was a player called Brent Webb. He used to play fullback for the Kiwis.
He was a gun, man.
And I used to cut my hair like him when I was like 12. I'm like, I had the Kiwis jersey on. Brent Webb, like, honestly, man, like, it was,
I see that. Bro, we've gone way over time, man, but it's been, I apologise for that, but it's been so interesting. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Thanks, bro.
That's it. Boom.
Awesome.
To support the locker room, go to moneyball.com.au and sign up for free today. You pick your starting 9 with a $60,000 salary cap and you play for real cash.